Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Lau. This is a discussion on the best cosmetic energy device. It's part of the series Understanding Beauty Tech that I'm going to present to you. This is the first episode actually. So you might ask, which is the best? There's so many offerings out there that all claim to be the best. So you have laser, you have the light treatment, IPL, LED, you have radiofrequency, RF, ultrasound, HIFU, microcurrent, mechanical, combination of multiple of them. So how do I choose? To tell you a little bit about myself, I can be your guide. I'm a scientist, also a physician. I also develop energy devices. The first picture you see me, the black and white picture, when I was a young PhD student at the University of Washington studying nuclear physics. And then I still use physics after I became a surgeon. I'm one of the first one using laser in surgery in the Pacific Northwest more than 30 years ago. And I spent quite a few years developing energy devices. This is a picture of a clinical trial that I was conducting in Mexico City, 2014, using high-intensity focused ultrasound, HIFU, to treat fibroid tumor of the uterus. So what are my credentials? I'm a cosmetic surgeon, specialized mostly now cosmetic vaginal surgery, also an aesthetic medicine specialist. I was trained in both gynecology and cosmetic surgery. I'm also a cosmetic chemist, and also I develop medical and consumer beauty devices. I have an advanced degree in chemistry and physics, also in management, MBA in technology. I'm a research scientist. I study senses, perception, attraction, neuroscience, and devices. I'm a clinical faculty at the University of Washington School of Medicine, Department of Gynecology. Also, I'm a visiting scholar at the University of California, Irvine School of Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Computer Science, and Biomedical Engineering. I co-authored multiple peer review papers and also U.S. patent and patent applications. So what's the main criteria for effective energy device in aesthetics? I think it must improve the appearance, texture, and contour of the body area. The energy device need to generate optimal tissue heating at a proper depth and location, safely, and with no or minimal discomfort. And this is in order to tighten the tissues, promote formation of new collagens and elastin, promote tissue healing and regeneration, and eliminate skin defects from aging and sun damage, and for contouring, shrinkage of fat cells. So how do one create effective tissue heating using a device? As you recall, maybe in your freshman chemistry or freshman physics class, you learn about the Arrhenius equation. Not to bore you with the detailed formula, basically it says that the degree of tissue effects is related to the exposure time linearly. That means certain time, your certain set effect, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3 is predictable. But to the tissue temperature is exponential. That means it's a lot more critical. You have this slight increase in the tissue temperature, the effect is exponential, a lot greater than the linear effect that we talk about with exposure time. So temperature important, very important in fact, because if you at 37 to 44 degrees centigrade, our body temperature is 37 degrees, it will accelerate the tissue metabolism and other natural regenerative and healing process to promote healing. Between 45 and 50, you start having conformational changes in the protein, the structure of the protein, including collagen, that will affect the tightening and also the structural improvement. About 50 to go to 80 degrees, it actually coagulate the soft tissue. The collagen contraction, if too much exposure to temperature, it may cause cell death. And the other factors like air convection, radiation, position of the applicator, blood perfusion, all affect the tissue heating effect. So the provider has to be able to understand all those elements to give you most effective tissue heating. Well, since it's the beginning of the series of beauty tech, understanding beauty tech, I'm just going to present you a general overview of the following commonly used energy device classes, and I will go through individual ones later on in more episodes of the series to go through each of the class like laser or light energy, and then some of the stuff that are not covered in this 4 classes, I will go through that also in the future episodes. But for this episode, we're going to look at lasers, light treatment, including IPL and LED, radiofrequency, RF, ultrasound, in particular HIFU, high intensity focused ultrasound. First, let's talk about laser. So I'm very familiar with laser. I use it, during training. I use it as a physicist. Actually, I'm the first one using laser for surgery more than 30 years ago in the Pacific Northwest. Actually, I have a nickname in my hospital. They call me Laser King. That's quite an honor. So what's laser? Laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission or radiation. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Basically, all it means is you pump energy into a medium and it would generate certain light energy or photon energy of different wavelengths, and it is very focused. It's of one single wavelength, monochromatic, one chromatic color, same wavelength. They're all same direction. All the photons go in the same direction, and they're coherent. They're lightweight. They're cohesive. They don't diverge or interfere with one another. So it's a very focused beam of light of the same frequency to do the job that we need to do. If you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, lasers are electromagnetic energy. Most cosmetic lasers operate in the ultraviolet, visible, and infrared range. You can see the range there. Retinal hazard region. That means since you can see it, you can damage your eyes. So it's very careful to use it. The effect depends on the wavelength. Certain wavelength penetrate deeper and interact with tissue differently than other wavelengths. Probably absorbed by the water content in your body or pigment in the tissue. And also it depends on the power density. That means how much power put in certain area, and volume, and also exposure time, how long do you use energy on that volume of tissue. So when you talk about cosmetic laser, there's certain terms I think it'd be good to know. The cosmetic laser could be ablative. Ablation means you vaporize, remove, or destroy the target tissue, or non-ablative. We just treat the tissue without destroying it. And the treatment can cover a complete area thoroughly or fractional. That means you treat fraction of the tissue but leaving intervening untreated tissue. That will help to minimize post-op discomfort and also promote healing from the tissue that's normal around the ablated area. In the diagram, you can see that the little fractional area of the skin and subdermal tissue is treated, but then the normal tissue around it, that will help to minimize the discomfort and will help to repair more speedily. Well, there are many applications using laser for cosmetic procedures. When we first started, we're using carbon dioxide CO2 laser, which is an ablative laser that you can see on diagram D. So basically, we use CO2 laser to ablate and get rid of the surface of the skin. So it's called CO2 laser skin resurfacing. So whole skin layer been taken off, and then it heal back nice and smooth. And of course, with that kind of treatment, the postoperative course is longer and a little bit uncomfortable because of the raw area. So we develop into the non-ablative or ablative using fractional pattern. The fractional meaning you only ablate part of the skin surface and leaving the surrounding area normal and treated. So they'll be less uncomfortable, and also the tissue from the normal tissue can grow inside the ablated area and accomplish the treatment. And then the non-ablative sometimes can resurface that well, but can do the job quite well. So you can skin tightening, that works real well, and texture improvement, that will include taking care of fine lines and wrinkles, pigmented lesions. So if there's sunspot, dark spot, age spot, they absorb certain wavelength of laser, and you can set that and get rid of it. Hair removal, the same thing. You can target the hair follicles using certain wavelength on the laser, and that will take care of the excessive hair that you don't like. Vasculation like capillaries or small veins that you don't like, they contain hemoglobin, which absorbs certain wavelength of laser, and by coagulating that, you can destroy the small veins and blood vessels and capillaries. Again, using acne, scar, and stretch mark, they can all be treated by laser, and also tattoo, being a pigmented lesion, can be removed by certain laser of the correct wavelength as well. What the other forms of light treatment is most common is IPL, intense pulse light. A lot of people say, oh, IPL, same as laser. It's not. IPL is not a laser. It comprises of light of various wavelengths. You can see the visible range. It can comprise a wide range of the wavelengths. It's not focused, so you can cover a big area. Laser is very focused in a small area. IPL works because the light is very intense and will interact with the elements in the tissue, especially color sensitive elements, to treat dark spots, hair follicle for hair removal, or spider veins, because the color hemoglobin in the veins will absorb the light energy to destroy the veins, small veins, or capillaries. Another term that you might hear in light therapy is LED. LED stands for light emitting diodes. So it's not laser neither. It's comprised of light, color light, with different wavelength mix in it, give you a color, but it's not same color like laser in terms of one single wavelength. It's not focused like laser, so you can cover a wide area. The different penetration with different wavelength, different color of the LED have different properties. That like the red LED will work on the surface, the epidermis, to help produce collagen, to help decrease wrinkles, and the blue LED work deeper layer, the oil glands, also to help with the aesthetic changes. It can be used as a home device. Actually, it's pretty common. If you are wondering, see all these pictures that I've been using. I'm actually a semi-professional photographer, so I like to take pictures. So you see the pictures. Hopefully you like it in the presentation. It's my own work. Another commonly used energy device in cosmetic application is RF, as radiofrequency. Radiofrequency is part of the electromagnetic energy spectrum. It includes radio wave and microwave. Yes, microwave is used in the microwave oven. It's the low energy end of the electromagnetic spectrum. You can see in the picture, you have the frequency on the low end, and then you go to visible light, higher frequency, and go all the way to gamma ray, really high frequency. The RF will generate heat, just like microwave generate heat, but it's a different way, of course, in applying it. It will stimulate production of collagen, elastin, and new skin cells tighten the tissue and disrupt the fat cell depending on how you use it and the design of the device. Again, the effects depend on the treatment depth and temperature gradient, how the temperature change as you go deeper into the tissue. So what do you use RF or radio frequency for in cosmetic applications? It can tighten and lift. The skin and subcutaneous tissue can be tightened using the heat energy, and by doing so, you can produce lifting effect of those areas they're interested. Of course, you will generate collagen, elastin, and new skin cells to enhance the aesthetic effect. For contouring, the heating using the RF energy can actually cause disruption of the fat cells and decrease the volume of the fat cells and tighten the structural tissue to produce a more optimal contour of body parts. It can actually improve skin texture if you combine using that with microneedling with or without PRP added to the microneedling. So it's very effective. So finally, we talk about ultrasound. In particular, high-intensity focused ultrasound, HIFU. This subject very dear to me. I spent the last almost 15 years doing HIFU in multiple applications. Basically, focused ultrasound is only modality that you go through tissue and destroy or heat up deep tissue without affecting the tissue intervening, because it's focused through the tissue and the energy deposit only at the focus. You can use it to disrupt fat cells in deeper pockets in contour reduction, and also you can tighten the deep fascial layer, like the skin fascia to facial fascia, to tighten the skin and contour of the face, and tighten the skin and subcutaneous tissue, and can apply ultrasound to enhance cosmetic agent, skincare agent in treating. This is a picture. The first picture is the device that I co-developed that can treat fibroid tumor deep inside the uterus without surgery. Patient come in and walk home same day. This is showing a test that we done in Germany, in Bonn, Germany. So that was the HIFU machine that I co-developed. And then below is the Genu, Genu, skincare device that also co-founder of the company that developed using an ultrasound device to enhance absorption of skincare products. And we wrote several patents on that, same as the first on the HIFU device for fibroid as well. So that's a subject dear to me. It's used in cosmetic application quite frequently. So this is the bottom line. Which is the best energy device out of the laser, light energy, RF, ultrasound, microcurrent, mechanical, combination of each of them? Well, the answer is actually it depends. It could be any one of them or in combination thereof. Basically, if you know how to use it and why you use it and have experience using it, you can pick the best device or devices for the patient that will work best to what she wants. You want to clear your skin up, use a laser to do it. It's the best because that's what you need. You can use RF to do that, for example, or ultrasound for deep penetrating fat treatment. Otherwise, same thing. You know, you want to get rid of fat pocket, you have to use HIFU. And, so you got to find an operator that knows the energy devices and recommend to you what's best for you, what you want. Certain things, device can only do so much. For example, you have a very large collection of abdominal fatty layer and loose fascia. None of the device will work. You need liposuction plus maybe even abdominoplasty, tummy tuck. Same as vaginal rejuvenation. A lot of people use laser vaginal rejuvenation, but you think of the physics of it. The laser can go down 3 to 5 millimeter depth, but the muscle when tightens about 2 centimeter below the vaginal mucosa. How can you use laser to tighten the muscle? You can't. So we've got to be realistic. Talk to your provider, and see what they have, what they experience in, and how they can help you to create a program that gets you what you want. I think the best to do is to do that. Then all the energy devices, they all have their own unique function. You can understand them, and then they can make the right choices. I will continue to cover more topics in devices in more detail in future episode in the Beauty Tech series. So I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my video library and follow the Understanding Beauty Tech series, which we update weekly to stay on top of the latest trend in beauty tech. So thank you for your attention and take care.